Hello, everybody, and welcome to Chapter 7 Overview. It's entitled Enlightened Science 1, Chemistry Catches Up. And you'll see there's a reason why. But first I want to talk about focus points for this chapter. Remember, the reason I named the chapter is a reference to Enlightenment. So what is the Enlightenment? Please make sure you understand the time period and the meaning of that phrase. It's very, very important. Two important builders of the steam engine, Thomas Newcomen and James Watt, really laid the foundation of the Industrial Revolution. Three important chemists that you're going to read about in this chapter are James Black, Joseph Priestley, and Antoine Lavoisier and his wife Marie Anne. Okay, let's take a look at some of the images. Here's a scientist doing a demonstration of perhaps, it looks like it might be electricity. Static would hold on that round sphere right above a Leyden jar. And this is a image that sometimes is used to describe the Enlightenment, where for the first time en masse, people in the Western area are rejecting sort of mythology and really embracing reason. And so much so that it was called the Age of Reason. This could be France of that time period, the late 1700s. It could be America. The founding of America really was seen as an Enlightenment exercise. First person, or one of the first people you're going to read about, is Thomas Newcomen. Thomas Newcomen, his main contribution to the Industrial Revolution was to improve steam engines. At the end of this overview, I'm going to show you a wonderful website which will show you a Newcomen engine in action. It's an animated GIF site that I think you guys will like. Here's a picture of James Watt, also an unbelievably well thought out redesign of the steam engine, and he's really responsible for the steam engines that ultimately drove steam locomotives. This is a nice shot of him. Here's a picture from one of his books of the parts of his steam engine, and this is very close to the Newcomen, but James Watt is given a lot of credit for improving the steam engine. Which ultimately would power the railroads. The railroads really transformed spaces and time, especially in America, but all over the world. You're also going to read about Joseph Black and the discovery of carbon dioxide. Two gases that are really important that people discover for the first time are carbon dioxide. And then Joseph Priestley. There's a picture of the stamp that was given his credit, and he discovered oxygen. As a matter of fact, Joseph Priestley, later in his life, left England and came to the United States, came to Pennsylvania. And some of his relatives, some of his distant relatives are still with us. In fact, William Priestley, the great-great-great-grandson, I believe, received his doctorate at Temple University a number of years ago. These are two images which talk about Priestley's experiment. One is where he timed how long it would take a mouse to die with a candle alone, the candle using up that oxygen, as you would suspect, and a candle and a number of growing plants left the mouse alive a lot longer. This is the name of the site. I'm going to show it to you at the end of this overview. It's called Animated Engines. If you just Google that, you'll come up with it, and I'll show you that in a little bit. Remember that I'd like you to focus on what the Enlightenment is and the people mentioned that we mentioned earlier in the overview. Those were the steam engine creators, James Watt and Thomas Newcomen, and those chemists, James Black, Joseph Priestley, and Antoine Lavoisier. Remember, a number of you guys have been posting to our Google community. That's great, but a couple people haven't, so please join and post there. Remember to go to our Blackboard site and prepare for our midterm, which is only 2 weeks away. We sent out the two possible dates of that week, not the locations yet, in an email a little while ago, so you can check that, find that, and check that. The first paper is due the week after the midterm, and remember, we have an optional field trip. I will meet you on Thursday, October 29th at the Wagner Free Institute of Science at 1700 Montgomery, 17th and Montgomery. That's the phone number there. So hope you guys enjoy this chapter. Remember, just focus and just prepare your notes on the people that we mentioned at the beginning. Now I would like to show you that engine site. Here is animated engines, and the two that it talks about all different types of engine. The 4-stroke engine, that's the one in your car. A diesel engine, if you have a diesel. A 2-stroke, which might be on a lawnmower or a weed whacker. I'm going to go down here. There's the steam locomotive, but the one that there's the Watt beam, which is another type of engine. I'm going to go to the Newcomen atmospheric. And it says this magnificent engine was patented by Thomas Newcomen and is generally regarded as the first modern steam engine. And at the bottom, it was first used to pump water from mines in England. The pump rod on the left is coupled with the driving piston. So take a look at that. If you want to, you can go back, look at the other engines. Here's the engine that powered steam locomotives. You can speed up or slow down if you need to get a better sense of how these engines worked. And let's see, another important engine is the one that gets you around all the time. Here's a 4-stroke engine. This is the battery. This is the exploding gasoline. These are the valves that let gasoline in, a spark that explodes the gasoline, and then this is what turns your wheels ultimately after it goes through the transmission and a few other things. Anyway, some of you guys might have some fun with this site called Animated Engines, and good luck with Chapter 7. We have one more chapter left before we get to the midterm.